Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order explores the universe after the Jedi Purge that was Order 66. As such, the list of Jedi characters left alive after the event is relatively small. Many of these Jedi already feature prominently in other media, making it hard to tell a new story while fitting characters inside their existing timelines. Cal Kestis is sort of the only Jedi that doesn't suffer from any of these continuity problems. So far, he's only appeared in 2 video game titles, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor. The games also give us a glimpse of the prodigal son's first meeting with Darth Vader. Although the battle was brief, it did give us an inconclusive look into his powers as he tried to take on the Sith Lord. But if he had stayed and fought, would he have lived to tell the tale, or just be added to the list of 35 or so other Jedis that have lost their lives to Vader's lightsaber? So, how powerful is Cal Kestis supposed to be in the grand scheme of the Star Wars mythos? It's tricky to say for sure, especially since we have to gauge strength through video game metrics. However, Fallen Order and Survivor's narratives do shine a light on Cal's overall power level. So for instance, we see him face off against Vader in Fallen Order, and it's clear that he is, at best, about as powerful as Luke Skywalker was when Luke faced Vader in Empire Strikes Back. Both are able to survive the battle and do some damage, but they are clearly overmatched by a superior force. Interestingly, we do see Cal face 2 other Jedi in Survivor, Dagan Gera and Bodhi Akuna. It's suggested that Gera is a pretty powerful Jedi from the time of the High Republic, and he seems to be surprised by how Cal is his relative equal in combat. Meanwhile, Bodhi Akuna is a fully trained Jedi who was so talented that he served as a kind of Jedi special operative during the time of the Clone Wars. Cal is certainly caught off guard by Bodhi's true nature, but when it comes time to fight, it's not strongly suggested that Bodhi is supposed to be significantly more powerful than Cal. Again, better trained and more experienced, but not necessarily objectively more powerful. For what it's worth, Cal does seem to be incredibly gifted with a lightsaber. He's one of the few Jedi we've seen effectively utilize several forms of lightsaber combat, and he does seem to catch other powerful Force users off guard once it comes time to fight. While Cal is obviously still growing his connection to the Force, it's long been suggested that he is already a very gifted duelist. If Cal does creep above some of the most powerful Jedi in the canon, it would likely be as a duelist. Cal could conceivably reach Luke Skywalker's levels of power one day, but the Jedi he draws the most obvious comparisons to is actually Ahsoka Tano. Tano has much more experience, but both are able to defeat Inquisitors and both display flashes of incredible abilities. It's been argued that Ahsoka is somewhat underrated as a powerful Jedi, and it seems like you could say the same for Cal. But would that be sufficient for him to take down Vader? Darth Vader is a force to be reckoned with, there's no denying that. He's definitely one of the most formidable forces in the galaxy in the original movies. But how strong is he really, especially at the time of the original trilogy? Even going by Disney canon only, Darth Vader is incredibly strong. His entire goal at the start of the Empire was to eradicate all remaining Jedi, which he did so with ease. But, on the other hand, he gets beaten by Luke, who's had a year of training as a Jedi. Sure, maybe it has something to do with the Skywalker blood, or that Darth Vader was feeling merciful, but this always stuck out to me as a strong indicator that maybe he gets a lot more credit than he deserves. That doesn't make him any less dangerous though. Darth Vader's abilities with a lightsaber were almost unmatched during the reign of the Empire, as there was hardly any Jedi that could actually go toe-to-toe with him in a straight-up fight. Probably the only one who could match his saber skills was Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anakin Skywalker had the highest potential in the Force in the history of the Jedi, being the chosen one that was supposed to bring balance back to the Force, and that was why his potential as a user of the Force and a lightsaber combatant seemingly had no ceiling. His potential diminished due to his cybernetic body, but he was still stronger than most Jedi Knights and Masters in the ways of the Force when he finally gave in to his dark side. Vader was so powerful in the Force that he could easily crush an entire room using his telekinetic abilities. Blasters were also basically useless against him because he could use the Force to deflect and absorb blaster bolts. It's difficult to compare Cal to Vader. Cal is a boy with only a few years of training, while Vader is a man who has spent decades honing his skills. While Cal certainly might have the potential to take on the Sith Lord, at his current power level, it just doesn't seem likely. So for this reason, we'll have to give it to Vader. Granted, we're obviously taking an elaborate form of fan fiction. Where do you think Cal ranks in terms of the most powerful Jedi and Sith in the Star Wars universe? Could he potentially beat Darth Vader? Let us know in the comments. We post death battles every week with occasional power rankings thrown in. If that's something you think you find interesting, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.